What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Here to bring you an NFL discussion video. Not a prediction, but it might be one pretty soon. NFL discussion video on Geno Smith and why the Pittsburgh Steelers should be banging down the Seahawks' door to trade for him. Let's get into it, guys. So, I've been on this for a while on both standpoints, from the Steelers end and the Seahawks perspective. I've been saying that the Steelers need a real quarterback, a real gunslinger. Geno fits that bill. And we've seen how this year played out. We'll get into that later as well. But they need a gunslinger. They need someone to open up the offense. And to do so, they might need to fire Arthur Smith as well. But we'll get into that in a few minutes. Also, on the Seahawks side, I've been saying for a year and a half that they're going to need to retool this team, especially the offense. I know the head coach came out after the season, said he wanted to keep Geno Smith. But let's be real. 35-year-old quarterback when the season starts, last year of his contract, and they're similar to the Steelers. They're both stuck in the middle. Both are average teams. You know, they have their good spots here and there. They're good players, they're all that good stuff. But neither team has what it takes to get over the hump right now currently. Neither team has their QB of the future. And I think the team that needs a QB of the future the most is the Seahawks, because they're really stuck in the mud. You know, at least the Steelers can make the playoffs in a tough AFC. The Seahawks, they're off and on. They'll make it here, and they make it 1 year, miss the next year, and back and forth. You know, so both teams talented. Both teams need a retooling. But like I said, I think the Seahawks are in more of a need. I think I did a video on this as well. I mentioned the Chargers and their offseason plans after their loss to who the Chargers lose to? The Texans. And I said DK Metcalf is an option. I think DK gets traded this year. Tyler Lockett, he's up there in age as well, last year of his contract. Do they trade him? Do they keep him? Do they cut him? You know, we'll see. But as far as the Steelers goes, they need a gunslinger. They need someone aggressive. They need someone to open up the offense. And Geno Smith, to me, is that guy. 35 seems old for a quarterback, I know, but that's old. That's olden days. These days, these guys can play until 38, 39 with no problem. I think Geno can be one of those guys. Won't be there too long. You know, you trade for him this year, probably for a third and fifth, fourth and sixth, maybe somewhere around that range. There should be good conversation for him, because you still got to pay him. You know, if you trade for him, you still have to pay him if you're the Steelers. Maybe for a short-term deal to be a bridge quarterback. But my thinking is you trade for Geno, extend him, I guess a 2-year contract, $20 million a year to be a bridge quarterback after this season. And this draft, you draft a guy like Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. I think you let him sit for a year or two until the contract is up for Geno. With that being the case, Jackson Dart, if he progresses, or whoever it is, Jackson Dart, Milrow from Bama, whoever you may pick, if you draft one of those two guys, they're gonna be projects. They're gonna be guys who need to get better and sit with and get better with time. If you can get Geno to maintain the ship, have fun game. Look, he's not a perfect quarterback. He's gonna make mistakes. Like I say, he's a natural gunslinger. You know, so he's going to make crazy throws, good and bad, will be the outcome. But if you can find someone like a Geno to let Dart or Milrose sit for a year and a half, 2 years, and then they'll be 2027, and they'll be Geno's last year on that contract. You can cut him, you can keep him as a backup, mentor, whatever, which he's been doing in this scenario for that player, and it makes sense. You know, he'll be, 38 by then, so... You know, but long story short, man, I think the Steelers need to be aggressive. They need to be aggressive. They need to really look at the landscape of it. You might lose Hayward. Watt is getting up there in age as well. Always banged up, especially towards the end of the season. Always banged up. You know, and he didn't have the best ending to the year this year. Tomlin been there for a long time. Hasn't had a success. I know success is relative, but making the playoffs, just getting in, and being a first round out, being a punching bag for a first round out is not it's cool, but it's not the greatest. I'm not gonna lie to you. Me personally, I might as well just miss it and get a worse pick. But hey, if you like that, I love it for you. But I don't. I'm not the biggest fan of just keep going to the first round and keep getting whooped on with no chance to win. So, you get they're not the Steelers and same as Seahawks. They're in a spot where they're not good enough to win it all, but they're not bad enough to get a good high overall pick to get a quarterback. And that's a tough part. No, I know last year or 2 years ago, the Seahawks were in a decent spot to get one. They had 2 picks. They could have traded up to get whoever they wanted. They didn't do that, so that's why they are where they are now, stuck in the middle. But Steelers in the same way, and they've been like that for a while since Big Ben left. The just a daggone, I can't think of the word, just a not seesaw, the carousel. That's what it is. Carousel of quarterbacks going through there, and we've seen this year with Russ. And let's get into it. Russell or Justin Fields, who should have started? I think they made the right decision. I think Russell should. I think he should have started. I think they were right in there. I think he fit Smith's system the best, honestly. But the thing is, what do they do next year if they don't go for Geno? Let's say that they don't want to do a trade. They don't want to put the draft assets to get a guy like Geno. Do they bring back Fields? And do Fields even want to go back there? That's something to me that I'm thinking about. Like, why would I want to go back there? I know Arthur Smith might like me, but if it was Tom, I know a fan's theory is every time you see Smith talk, he's mentioned or Fields is mentioned to him. It seems like he wants Fields, but it seems like either Khan or Tomlin doesn't want Fields to start and they want Russell. Cool. But if you're Fields, right, just looking at the landscape of everything and how everything might turn out, the rookie quarterbacks won't be able to start no time soon. I think from this class, Cam Ward shouldn't start in my opinion. Shador maybe, but that's really it. Anybody else, no chance of even starting in my opinion. So, you're gonna need a quarterback in different spots. Vegas, Cleveland, if they don't go quarterback at pick 2. The New York Jets, New York Giants. Like, there's a couple teams out there that Fields could start on to get his name back super hot again, and he's going to be wanted. So even if the Steelers give him the same deal that everyone else will, 2 years, $20 million, or 2 years, $40 million, or 35, whatever, like, why would he want to return? Because you benched me. We was a 4-2 team, and you benched me in favor of an old man in Russell Wilson, and that's his point of view. So why would he want to return to Pittsburgh? I know he was just there for a year, played well in moments in spurts. He knows the system now. If Arthur Smith stays on, but why would he want to stay? That's the biggest thing for me. So, if I'm him and the way y'all did me, which wasn't dirty as business, but man, like, I don't get it. You bring me in, I do good, I do well. Russ gets hurt in training camp or comes in hurt, whatever. I do well, and then you bench me in favor for an older guy, and then the season turns to crap, and then it's like, okay, and now you want me to come back and start in 2025 when momentum is all gone now. I got to start over from scratch. I was already doing good in 6 games. So, for me, if I'm Fields, I'm looking elsewhere, but we'll see. We'll see how everything turns out. This free agency, this offseason will be crazy in my opinion. The rumor right now for the Steelers is that they want Aaron Rodgers on a nice 2-year deal. We'll see. Can him and Tomlin coexist? I don't know. We haven't seen Rodgers with a super strong coach. I think Matt LaFleur was a good, strong-minded coach. What we've seen from, but I don't know. Salah probably seemed strong behind the scenes more than he was publicly. Tomlin, we'll see. We'll see, man. That might be a match in heaven or a match downstairs. So we'll see what happens with that. But if it was me, and I'm not gonna do a trade if I'm the Steelers, I would rather have Fields than Rodgers or Wilson. I know Geno is up there in age as well. He's going to be 35, but it's like I'm tired of these older guys. And Rodgers is pushing 40, if not 40 already. Russ, he's not the greatest now. He's definitely just he just played bad down the stretch. He was throwing both feet in the air, certain moments, off balance, off kilt. It was like I don't know what he's doing, and it was for no reason sometimes. So it seemed like Russ just forgot how to play quarterback for some reason as the season had waned this year. So kind of a weird ending for Russ. We'll see what happens next year, where he goes, if he even gets a backup job. I think he should. I think he's shown enough to say, hey, at least if our main guy gets banged up, you can come in and save the season for a good game, a good 2, 3, 4 game stretch, and he comes back and take over, or just to take over the reins if a young quarterback struggles. So we'll see where Russ goes. I keep pointing to everybody I mentioned, but the Colts. The Colts already said they're going to bring in someone to push Richardson. I mentioned a couple other names to the Colts as well. Why not Russ? Go throw him in the pot too, because I really think the Colts are trying to get off of Richardson. Another year of injuries or just inconsistent play, I think could be the year that we see the last of Richardson in Indianapolis. And I said that from another video, but I've been saying that this year as well. I said that rookie season for Richardson. These injuries not going to work. Plus being a project and you starting being inconsistent and a starter is not going to work out long term. He continues to get banged up. Well, we'll leave that alone. It's a Steelers video, another story for another day. But yeah, Seahawks, Steelers, both stuck in the mud. I think both need to start over. Both need to get a guy like Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe in this draft, because this draft isn't that deep in quarterback. So it's like, everybody really went to school, went back to school. We'll see with the Texas guy, Quinn Ewers, but Dart, Ewers, Milroe, that's it. So where are you gonna go after that? So either go with a veteran and then go back in the draft for 2026, or draft a guy just to say you drafted someone now, second, third, fourth round, and then if you back in a bad spot, go back in the first 2026 and get a guy, Arch Manning, whoever else comes out, guy from Tennessee, Nussberger from LSU, or Nussmeyer, excuse me, whatever his name is. Excuse me for that mishap. Don't want to disrespect his name, but whatever his name is from LSU who went back. And more names out there as well. So we'll see where it goes. But I truly think the Steelers need to be aggressive, and they need to do it in a hurry, because Hayward might be gone. Watt getting up there in age and stays banged up. Will you keep Pickens long term? He's a wild card. He's a wild boy. We'll see. We'll see. Minkah Fitzpatrick getting up there in age. So we'll see, man. But that's it for video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.